You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, Kansas agrees to halt a new rule set to take place on July 1st in regards to abortions.
And the fight for abortion rights in Missouri gets to now go into the hands of voters.
And we've got ourselves another hot day across the area. We're starting sunny and clear on this first day of summer, but changes on the way, at least for some of us. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us for the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. An Arkansas judge strikes down the state's ban on gender-affirming care for transgender minors. The judge ruled it as unconstitutional, and it's the first ruling to overturn such a prohibition as a growing number of Republican-led states adopt similar restrictions. U.S. District Judge Jay Moody issues a permanent injunction against the Arkansas law, which would have prohibited doctors from providing gender-affirming hormone treatment, puberty blockers, or surgery to anyone under 18. The law also would have prohibited doctors from referring patients elsewhere for such care. Arkansas's ban was the first in the nation of its kind. In Moody's order, he ruled that the prohibition violated the due process and equal protection rights of transgender youth and families. He said the law also violated the First Amendment rights of medical providers by prohibiting them from referring patients elsewhere. The ruling affects only the Arkansas ban, but may carry implications for the fates of similar prohibitions or discourage attempt to enact them in other states. A constitutional amendment proposal to restore abortion rights in Missouri will move forward. On Tuesday, a judge broke a standoff between two Republican officials that had halted the process. The judge ordered Attorney General Andrew Bailey to approve fellow Republican auditor Scott Fitzpatrick's estimated $51,000 price tag on the proposal within 24 hours. Bailey argued it would cost the state as much as a million times more because of lost Medicaid funding or revenue that would not be collected from people who would otherwise be born. If approved by voters, the proposal would enshrine in the state constitution the individual right to make decisions about abortion, childbirth, and birth control. And Kansas officials agree not to enforce a new restriction on medication abortions. The restrictions will not be enforced for at least 5 weeks. State court judge will eventually decide a lawsuit challenging the restriction and other existing rules. For now, providers will not have to tell patients that they can stop a medication abortion using a regimen that providers and major medical groups consider unproven and potentially dangerous. The rule was set to take effect July 1st. Carthage Water and Electric Plant Board says the City Council's decision to dissolve the board is unlawful. The council held an emergency meeting last Thursday to remove the board members from their positions. Council says the board violated a city ordinance that regulates the authority of the board to create employee positions and assign salaries. On Monday, the board released a statement saying they believe the decision was unlawful and that they will remain in their positions. You can find more information on the dispute on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com.
We've got some showers and thunderstorms out to our west. These have been strong to severe through the morning, and we do have that severe thunderstorm watch. This is still well west of our area, but these storms expected to weaken as they continue to shift east-southeast, but will eventually be the catalyst for some thunderstorm chances, specifically in Elk and Chautauqua counties later this afternoon and into the evening hours. So let's go down the road on the future track. We go about 4 or 5 o'clock. There come those thunderstorms into Elk and Chautauqua County. Could see a few showers in Montgomery County, and we could see a couple into Nowata and Washington counties in northeast Oklahoma, but unfortunately, as you see, this is not a widespread rain event. We're talking very confined to a very specific area. The rest of us still dry, hot, but we'll get some additional clouds out there. Let's take a look outside. MoDOT camera 20th and range line. It is sunny. It is clear for now, and same from the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue, and from our camera at 7th and range line. Clear skies. 68 starting to warm up. Dew point, humidity, both up there. Like we've been mentioning, they're not necessarily going to be oppressive, but they're going to be just uncomfortable enough to make the day a little more miserable. We got 64 Fort Scott, 65 Pittsburgh, Nevada, 71 Chanute, Neodesha, 68 Miami, and 70 in Neosho. As we get our morning started, again, we're starting clear, and then those storms out west will give most of us some partly to mostly cloudy skies, and we'll make it up into the mid-80s. And then as we go into the afternoon and evening, Elk, Chautauqua, Washington, Nowata counties, Some scattered thunderstorms possible. The rest of us partly, mostly cloudy, hot out there. Upper 80s, lower 90s again today for the first official day of summer. Those clouds, though, trap in the heat out here to the east, and that's going to keep us pretty darn warm as we go through the evening hours, and we'll go partly cloudy overnight, dropping back into the upper 60s. Our Thursday, a little better. We're in the upper 80s, partly cloudy. Friday, an isolated storm or two possible. We're looking at maybe some pop-up storms. Low 90s return as we head into the weekend and the start of next week. Got some scattered thunderstorm chances Saturday and Sunday. They're low chances, but at least they're chances. And then we'll be partly cloudy to kick off the next work week. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. It's party time in Pittsburgh on Tuesday. The community celebrated 620 Day, as in the area code and the date. One of the main attractions was a block party in the area of 2nd and Broadway. It included food, music, vendors, a car show, and more along the street and inside the Pritchett Pavilion.
It's 620 Day. It's June 20th, and today in Pittsburgh we are celebrating with lots of deals and specials and activities throughout the day at local businesses, and we are ending and capping off the day with a downtown block party.
Officials say the purpose of the event is to cultivate pride and celebrate the Pittsburgh community. More than 15 businesses on Broadway and the surrounding area also joined the 620 celebration yesterday afternoon. Pittsburgh stores offered deals from 20% off to buy one, get one half off. And some even chose to price their items at a certain rate. You guessed it, $6.20.
To give people the opportunity to try something they might not try at full price. For instance, acai. It's one of those items that people aren't sure if they want. They don't necessarily want to spend $10 to get one. So today we have them for $6.20, and we have sold a lot.
Well, business owners also said the event increased their sales for the day. Coming up, it's time for fair season in Kansas, and Will Morris from the K-State Extension Service is stopping by to tell us all about it.
And later, why adults 19 to 65 should get screenings for anxiety disorders. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Be right back. But first, got ourselves another live look from Schifferdecker Park in Joplin, as today is National Skateboarding Day.
Free now at Johnson Floor and Home.
The U.S. Preventative Services Task Force now recommends adults ages 19 to 64 in the U.S. be screened for anxiety disorders. The task force is a group of independent medical experts whose recommendations help guide doctors' decisions and influence insurance plans. Its recommendation was published in the medical journal JAMA. It marks the first time the USPSTF has made a final recommendation on screening for anxiety disorders in adults. The task force found insufficient evidence to recommend screening for anxiety in older adults. The group continues to recommend that all adults be screened for major depressive disorder. Well, here's some news you can sleep on. Taking daytime naps may help maintain brain health as we age. I love this information. That's according to a new study published Monday in the journal Sleep Health. Researchers from University College London and the University of the Republic of Uruguay say habitual napping was linked with larger total brain volume. That in turn is associated with a lower risk of dementia and other diseases. Researchers say on average the difference in brain volume between nappers and non-nappers was equivalent to 2.5 to 6.5 years of aging. However, prior research has shown that excess napping can also be harmful and could even be a sign of dementia. Everything in moderation. We got it. And now, a story about virtual reality training.
In this virtual reality scenario, there is a fire in an operating room.
I smell smoke. Does anyone see fire?
Yes.
Registered nurse Mary Ong gets to work using her headset and controllers, trying to save the patient.
I was freaking out, like, what do I do?
Ong says the VR takes some getting used to, but it is very helpful for her continued training.
You feel like you're doing it in the real world, and even if you get it wrong, that's fine. You could always go back and redo it.
To my knowledge, we're on the forefront here.
Carolyn Vitale, the vice president of clinical education for Health One, says the VR is used to train nurses for high-pressure emergency situations, offering different outcomes based on the nurse's actions.
So as the nurse performs one action or doesn't perform an action, it's like choose your own adventure. The program, just like real life, proceeds as though that truly were happening.
Vitale says the more realistic the training is, the better. Plus, VR is just fun.
There's a little bit of a gaming aspect to it. They want to beat their last score. There's some competition amongst one another.
This is a time simulation.
Ong says this is a meaningful option.
Whoever created this, thank you.
So we are tracking showers and thunderstorms off to our west. They've expanded the severe thunderstorm watch to now include Wichita and parts of the I-35 corridor. These are strong to severe thunderstorms, as you can see. Let's pull down just a little bit. They're starting to rotate back. They were moving southeast. Now they're starting to turn easterly. Now, the expectation through the morning is these storms will eventually begin to weaken. And we'll still get some thunderstorms into, say, Elk and Chautauqua counties that we've been talking about the last couple of days. But right now, we're not anticipating any strong or severe thunderstorms in our area, but of course we'll keep a close eye on this batch of rain for you. So as we head later into the afternoon and evening hours, we'll see those thunderstorms again. Elk, Chautauqua County, could see a few showers maybe into Montgomery County, but this is really going to be confined to Elk, Chautauqua, maybe Washington and Nevada counties in northeast Oklahoma. The rest of us are just going to start to get cloudy, and we're going to stay hot for this first day of summer. MoDOT camera 20th and range line, no clouds yet. We've got a little bit before they start moving in, and same from the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue, and our camera at 7th and range line, showing those blue skies out there, sitting at 68. Dew point, humidity, again, both up there. They're not going to be overly oppressive, but they'll be high enough that they're going to make today uncomfortable like the last few days. Sit at 64 is the cool spot in Fort Scott, 71 Neodesha, Chanute, 72 in Sedan, 69 Chitopa, Miami, and 70 in Neosho. As we get our morning started, again, obviously we're starting with those clear skies. Clouds from the storms to our west will start to overspread the area. Will be partly to mostly cloudy out there and heading to the mid-80s, so the clouds have no impact on our high temperatures today whatsoever. We got highs upper 80s, low 90s. Again, Elk, Chautauqua, Washington, Nevada counties. Some scattered thunderstorms possible through the afternoon and into the evening. Those should wrap up about 8, 9 o'clock tonight. Then we'll start to turn partly cloudy, but ahead of that, the clouds trapping that heat. We stay very warm heading into the evening. And as the clouds clear later tonight, we will drop back into the upper 60s, near 70s. So a pretty mild evening for us. Upper 80s tomorrow, partly cloudy skies. And then Friday, some pop-up storms possible, but the lower 90s return. Lower 90s sticking with us through the weekend into the start of next week. Got some scattered thunderstorm chances Saturday evening into Sunday morning, and then returning again by Sunday evening across the area. They're low chances, but hey, chances for rain of any kind are better than no chances at all. We'll have more of the KOAM Morning News right after this, but first we're going to give you another live look from Schifferdecker Park in Joplin in honor of Skateboarding Day.
Welcome back. It's about that time of year when fair season rolls around. Will Morris from the K-State Extension Service is joining us with all the details on what you can expect this year.
Yes, so county fair season is upon us, which means lots of people will be getting out, going, checking all the different exhibits and projects that 4-H youth have worked on all year long, because the county fair is the big showcase event for all of those things. When they walk through the different buildings and barns and stuff, the public might see different ribbons hanging from the different projects, and so I've brought some here to kind of explain what each of those mean. So most fairs use what's called the Danish system, which is this right here with our purple, blue, red, and white ribbons. Our purple ribbon is our most coveted ribbon that youth will want to acquire, which is means that their project was outstanding. So all projects are judged on a standard, and so they're not judged against each other for these ribbons right here. So this purple one, like I said, means that it is the most outstanding, and it meets and exceeds the standards for that project area. Blue ribbon means that it meets the minimum standards, and it may exceed those standards, but may need a few minor improvements according to the judge that day. A red ribbon means that it doesn't quite meet the minimum standards, but it's still a good project, and there is some improvements. And then a white ribbon means that they've got some work to do on that project because it's not meeting any of those standards for that day.
Can there be more than one purple?
Absolutely. So with more than one purple means that, like I said, because it's judged on a standard and they're not necessarily judged against each other. So when a youth comes up, like if you were judging one of my projects right now, you would judge it based off the standard within that fair book and say if it meets it or not. Now, a time when the projects would be judged against each other would be when you would be going after something like this, which would be a rosette. These are highly coveted. Means,
Yeah.
you know, you are the grand champion. Some reserve champions, they may vary based off your fair. So if you see one of these hanging from an exhibit, that means that they were exceptional and may be the overall champion for that day.
Now you can, like the fair is a chance for like the 4-H participants to show off what they've been working on, but there's also an open division for the community as well.
Absolutely. So the open class is a great area for anybody in the community that wants to come in and have their exhibits judged. So there's a lot of the same project area. So say somebody that is an adult that loves photography, they can bring their photos in and have them judged and put on display at the local county fair as well. So there's lots of different opportunities for everybody in the community.
And where can people find out more information about when the fair is and deadlines and all of those things?
So for your local county fairs, just look up your local extension office because every county has one, and that they'll be able to tell you when the county fair happens within that community.
All right, well, you're about to get into a very busy season.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much for coming in this morning, Will. We'll be right back.
Casino, Highway 60 west of Seneca, Missouri.
Well, a fishing crew managed to catch a massive fish, yet they lost the grand prize worth several $1,000,000. That's because of a shark bite that really bit into their wallets.
Jeannie Moose reports now they've hired a lawyer.
Sure, there are plenty of fishing bloopers. But this was no mere blooper. This was truly the big one that got away.
They're going to win $3.5 million.
The crew of the Sensation was sensing victory as it returned to the landing for the Big Rock Tournament in North Carolina with a 619-pound marlin on board. Can't lose, right? Not unless one of these takes a bite out of your prize fish and swallows your $3.5 million prize.
It would appear that this fish has been bitten by a shark.
There it is, the bite mark. According to the International Game Fish Association rules,
if a fish has a chunk taken out of it, whether it be by a boat or another fish or shark or whatever, it's not going to be fighting to its full potential.
Making it easier to catch. But Sensation captain Greg McCoy told the Washington Post, "We fought with him for 6 hours." The team has now hired an attorney who tells CNN they are on a quest to overturn the disqualification. The crew of a vessel named Sushi brought in the second biggest marlin and was awarded the prize, though the Sushi's marlin was about 135 pounds lighter. The tournament had Jaws to blame for a jaw-dropping ending that blew up a $3.5 million prize. Jeannie Moose, CNN, New York.
Sensations captain said he believed the tournament was arbitrarily applying the rules differently from year to year.
Yeah, I'm thinking that even if it had that bite on it, it looked pretty healed, but it probably made it tougher. Like, it's been through a battle with a shark. It knows how to handle things.
Exactly.
So
it's
it probably
did
did everything
so.
possible to get away.
I would agree
Plus,
with you
it was
there.
100 pounds heavier than the other fish. It's going to be harder to catch.
It certainly is, regardless of its condition. Well, I guess we'll have to find out how that works out for him, won't we?
I know. Man, I hope they do get it. Well, coming up, when the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 returns, Turnaround Ranch unveils its newest addition, also known as the Hope Cottage. And we'll have another look at your first day of summer forecast. We'll be right back.
In Maine and Joplin.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:29. On Tuesday, several Pittsburgh businesses got in on the 620 celebration. KOAM's Fernanda Silva has the story.
Christina O'Burley is already familiar with 620. But this year, working on the event is different for her.
We just opened our downtown building at the end of August last year, and instead of doing our food truck tonight, we wanted to touch on the storefront and what we've done here in Pittsburgh and the uniqueness we've brought to the town.
Besides the opportunity to bring in customers, 620 is also a way for businesses to give back to the community.
I just like to do anything that I can reach out to our community and help out in any way. You know, it's important being part of the downtown.
The downtown is growing and growing and growing, and the city and the community support is, you can't even put any words to it.
More than 15 businesses joined the celebration. Pittsburgh stores offered deals to residents and visitors, from 20% off to buy one, get one half off. O'Burley chose to price items at a certain rate. You guessed it, $6.20.
Special price today, $6.76. To give people the opportunity to try something they might not try at full price. For instance, acai. It's one of those items that people aren't sure if they want. They don't necessarily want to spend $10 to get one.
Inspired by other cities across the country, Pittsburgh found an opportunity to encourage shopping local, especially during the summer.
For our downtown retailers and for our local businesses, summer is a little bit of a slow time in Pittsburgh. And so we want to encourage folks to shop local and support local businesses. And we use 620, our area code, as kind of a rallying point to get everybody to participate.
In Pittsburgh, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
Sarah says the day for her is also a way to recognize how the community has grown. Fireworks sales began in Missouri on Tuesday, and they'll soon start in Kansas ahead of the 4th of July. Actually, a week from yesterday, they'll be starting in Kansas. Fireworks stores and fire departments alike are getting ready for fireworks season, and this time of year comes with the need to be informed about how to safely display the fireworks you purchase. Each city has its own ordinances about setting off fireworks, but there are also some things that you need to keep in mind no matter where you are.
Small children, I would have them indoors, and I would at least double the distance away from the fireworks if you don't have any place to take shelter indoors where they can watch them in a safe area.
So I think sparklers are a good one, especially when you're starting out. Stuff where you can light back up and let them watch. That's really how you stay safe with it. Obviously, don't let them light it.
You can find more safety tips on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com or by downloading the KOAM News app. You can also read the fireworks ordinances for Joplin and Pittsburgh.
Well, we've got cloud cover already increasing in our western counties ahead of some thunderstorms out there. Those thunderstorms still expected to weaken through the morning, but will eventually bring some chances to Elk, Chautauqua, Washington, and Newata counties. The rest of us will just continue to see increasing cloud cover, partly mostly cloudy, mid-80s by late morning as we head into the afternoon. Again, those thunderstorm chances Elk, Chautauqua, Washington, Newata counties. The rest of us partly to mostly cloudy, upper 80s, low 90s. We head into this evening. Those storms out west should start to die out about 8, 9 o'clock tonight. We'll go partly cloudy overnight and drop back into the upper 60s. Upper 80s for us tomorrow, partly cloudy. A couple of pop-up storms maybe on Friday. Low 90s return, carrying on into next week, and some scattered thunderstorm chances for the weekend. Tanya?
Thanks, Chris. Turnaround Ranch in Joplin unveils its newest addition, the Hope Cottage. Took 13 months to build, and officials say it's one of the most sleek and modern residential treatment facilities for children in Missouri. Hope Cottage resembles a single-family home and is meant to provide a safe and comfortable place to live for kids ages 13 to 18. Each resident has their own bedroom along with individual use bathrooms.
With the open floor plan, it helps to be able to station staff in strategic areas to be able to make sure that we're keeping an eye on specific areas that may be of concern. The rooms themselves have the ability to be locked from the outside, but then free to be opened from the inside. And so it helps to keep the kids that in their rooms versus going into other people's rooms.
2 additional cottages are planned, one this year and another next year. On Tuesday, the Langston Hughes Cultural Society gave folks a lesson on the famed poet's ties to Joplin. The society hosted a presentation by historian Bill Martin, who is researching the site of a now demolished Joplin home that Hughes was born in 1901. The site was demolished in the 1950s, but still holds cultural significance to the city.
The connection with the Kansas Historical Society and everyone else that's done research never came to Joplin. And I made the connection. If you Google Joplin Moe, you'll bring up Carrie Hughes, and she tells the stories. So that's what I'm doing tonight. A
team of archaeologists from Missouri Southern will conduct a geophysical survey at the site to search for clues about the home. And that's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, Troy Cupp and Steve Baird are in studio this morning, here to tell us all about an upcoming event to help raise funds for a charity looking to end veteran homeless.
And we're continuing to track some showers and thunderstorms out to the west that could impact Elk Chautauqua counties later today. We'll take a look at that and how hot our first day of summer is going to be when we come back. But first, we have this live look from Schifferdecker Park in Joplin, as today is National Skateboarding Day. We'll be back.
KOAM for details.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Joining us in the studio today, Troy Cupp and Steve Baird, and they're here to tell us all about an upcoming event that looks to help raise funds for an organization that's looking to end veteran homelessness in the area. Welcome to the show, guys. Great to have you here. So this is coming up this Saturday, and this is a pretty big deal. So what do you have going on?
So basically, the event, it's a concert mainly. Obviously, we've got here we go. You'll see these around town, but we've got 5 bands. We've got a comedian. We have a special guest speaker, Jill Stevenson, who's a Gold Star mother. We're going to have food trucks. We're going to have vendors, all kinds of stuff. A raffle going on, silent auction. Veterans get in free. We want to emphasize that. The whole point of this whole thing is to help veterans. So all veterans get in free, $10 a person otherwise. It's going to start at roughly 2 o'clock. We'll have basically a band almost every hour after that, with lots of stuff going on in between. So it's a complete full day of entertainment.
That sounds like it's going to be a great day, and it's doing something very special. You're talking about helping veterans and ending veteran homelessness. How serious of an issue is that here in our area?
Well, statistically, they say something like 70% of homeless people are veterans or something along that. I might be a little bit off on that, but I think anybody who drives around the area can kind of see some of the issue that we have going on. So there's obviously a real problem with homelessness nationwide. One thing we also do want to emphasize is that all of the money, first off, this is our Veterans First is the name of the organization. It's a local organization. All the money stays completely local to this area. We're a non-for-profit. Nobody's drawing a salary. All the money's going to the organization and to help people.
And how important is it for you guys to be able to put this all together and be able to help out as best you can in the area?
Well, this is probably our largest fundraiser. We do a couple other events. There's a car show, some other things, but the local sponsorships that we've been able to get for this event is really what helps drive our Veterans First, and it's been able to help us out. We've got an office in the Empire building, Empire Market building. We've got a phone. If you go to Facebook and look up Our Veterans First, you can find some contact information. But we've been able to pair with the VA to work with. We put together backpacks and things like that for people in need, for homeless people and veterans that come to the VA or some other places that might need some need. Or have some needs. We also do a winter coat program. We spend quite a bit of time, trying to do what we can to help local homeless veterans and other homeless people as well.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on this morning. We really appreciate it. And, of course, a great event for a great cause and helping veterans in the area. So we've got the information. It's going to be this Saturday. They've got the bands, they've got the food trucks, they've got the comedian, they've got everything. Yep. So
Happy Jack's Tavern, 1448 Iris Road, Seneca.
All right. We'll have, of course, all of this information on our website as well at KOAMnewsnow.com. We'll be back right after this.
Thanks.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:43 now. And so we've been tracking these thunderstorms out to the west. They've been strong, they've been severe, they continue to remain severe, but there is some good news. This particular warning, the one that's specifically starting to head east toward Wichita, hasn't had an update for about 30 minutes, and it's not been extended either. These storms are expected to weaken as the morning goes on, and that does appear to be the trend, since at this point we haven't seen any extensions or reissuances of these warnings. But these are the storms that will eventually start to give us some strong to possibly, or not even strong storms. If they weaken like they're supposed to, we're looking at just general thunderstorms, Elk, Chautauqua, Washington, Nevada counties as we head later into the afternoon. But we'll keep an eye on these because, as we mentioned, Mother Nature does like to throw us a curveball from time to time, and we'll see exactly what happens with these. But as we go into the afternoon and evening, still expecting showers, some thunderstorms, Elk, Chautauqua counties, maybe a couple showers easing into Montgomery County and into Nevada and Washington counties. The rest of us, though, just going to be cloudy and hot and dry, unfortunately. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline in Joplin, still got plenty of sunshine. Same from Pittsburgh at the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue. But we've pointed the camera a little further west. You can see the leading edge of those clouds from those storms, and they'll continue to increase as the morning goes on. We're at 68 in Joplin right now. Dew point and humidity both up there. Like the last couple of days, they are not going to be overly oppressive by any means, but it's going to be just enough to make it uncomfortable out there. Quick check of temperatures around the region. We got 70 Lamar, 71 Pittsburgh, Chautauqua, Chanute, Neodesha, Iola, and Sedan. Sitting at 70 Miami and 68 in Neosho. Quick reminder, as our morning starts, we'll have those cloudy skies increasing, partly mostly cloudy by late morning. Temperatures pushing the mid-80s. Highs today. Thunderstorms again out to our west. The rest of us partly mostly cloudy, upper 80s and low 90s. That's Check Your Forecast. Now here's Tanya Bach with a check of Consumer Watch.
All right, thanks, Chris. U.S. home building surged in May, far beyond expectations. According to data released Tuesday by the Census Bureau, housing starts were expected to slightly decline. Instead, construction climbed nearly 22% from the previous month. That's the fastest pace in more than a year. Low inventory in the existing home market has continued to boost interest in new home builds. The number of single-family units rose in May to 1.63 million. That's above expectations for 1.40 million. Senator Bernie Sanders launches a Senate investigation into working conditions at Amazon warehouses on Tuesday. The Vermont Independent is the chairman of the Senate Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions. In a letter to Amazon, Sanders says the company's quest for profits has led to unsafe working environments, low wages, and, quote, inadequate medical attention for tens of thousands of Amazon workers every year. Senator Sanders has also launched a website where Amazon workers can submit stories about their experiences at the company to help inform the investigation. We'll be right back with more after this, but first let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell. Well, a World War II veteran finally received his high school diploma. The 95-year-old left school at 14 years old to serve our country.
And now he finally gets not only a high school diploma, but a congressional gold medal. Lydia Anderson has more.
Saturday started out as a normal day for World War II veteran Armin Barth. But once he entered a room full of family, friends, other veterans, and officials, he knew something was up.
I thought, man, there's something going on now.
Barth's family and friends had been planning this for a long time, and after getting approval from the Appleton Area School District's board, their dream became a reality.
Today, on behalf of the Appleton Area School District Board of Education, we present Armin Barth with this diploma, acknowledging his tremendous journey and affirming our commitment to honoring the invaluable contributions of our veterans.
Not long after the Pearl Harbor attack in 1942, Armin left Roosevelt Junior High School, having only completed 8 years of grammar school and 1 year of high school. at the age of 14, headed to the West Coast to support the effort in the war.
At that time, Barth joined the Merchant Marines and served in World War II. After, Barth enlisted in the U.S. Marine Corps before returning to Northeast Wisconsin to work as a truck driver for Consolidated Freightways in Menasha for 55 years. Barth also received the Congressional Gold Medal presented by Congressman Mike Gallagher, which he earned for his heroic service.
Young Americans who answer the call to serve in the armed forces, especially during wartime, are deserving of the praise and admiration of a grateful nation.
Although Barth says his favorite thing he's taking home is his hard-earned high school diploma.
I made high school at 95, just imagine.
Barth always encouraged his children and grandchildren to finish their education as he wished he could have.
They're all going at least through high school, and my daughters did go through college.
Aside from all the other accomplishments Barth has made throughout his life, his next goal is to live to be 100 years old.
Keep cutting that grass.
That's the best way to do it, you know. Just keep active, keep healthy. He'll make it there, I have no doubt.
He's looking pretty good at 95, so I think he can do it.
I think he can too. Something else I think we can do is get pretty hot for the first day of summer, and that's what's going to happen. But we're still watching these thunderstorms out to the west. So here's some good news. You see, as the radar comes to the final frame there in that loop, the severe thunderstorm warnings way out to our west and even west of Wichita are not being extended. They're not being expanded. I just did some checking. The good news is these storms are starting to weaken. Now, they're still strong, according to the Wichita National Weather Service office, but they're weakening, and that is the expected trend. We were talking about that this morning. These should weaken as they roll off to the east, but Elk, Chautauqua counties could get a couple of thunderstorms as we head into the afternoon. However, if this batch holds up long enough to just maintain thunderstorms, we may see a more widespread rain event. That's not very likely at this point, but it's a possibility, and I know we're all keeping our fingers crossed for that. So let's look at what the future track is looking at. We're still just expecting those showers, thunderstorms, Elk, Chautauqua, Washington, the Nevada counties, maybe some showers into Montgomery County. So unfortunately, still not anticipating widespread rain from this, but if they can hold their own, they don't need to be severe, but if they can keep thunderstorm activity going, we might luck out on a little bit more rain than what is currently expected. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline sunny, looking good. Same from the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue south of Pittsburgh. But you can see those clouds from those thunderstorms beginning to spread in from the west, and they'll continue to do so. We're at 68 in Joplin, Dew point humidity are up there. They'll not be oppressive, but they'll be uncomfortable. We're sitting at 71 Iola, Chanute, Neodesha, Pittsburgh, 70 Miami, 68 Neosho. And just as we start our morning, again, sunny for some, increasing clouds, partly to mostly cloudy by late morning, and heading for the mid-80s. Another look at your full forecast and news you need to know right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A proposed constitutional amendment to restore abortion rights in Missouri moves forward. On Tuesday, a judge broke a standoff between two Republican officials that had halted the process. If approved by voters, the proposal would enshrine in the state constitution the individual right to make decisions about abortion, childbirth, and birth control. Kansas officials agree not to enforce a new restriction on medication abortions. The restrictions will not be enforced for at least 5 weeks. For now, providers will not have to tell patients that they can stop a medication abortion using a regimen that providers and major medical groups consider unproven and potentially dangerous.
And we've got ourselves another hot one today. We got the thunderstorm chances for Elk, Chautauqua, Washington, and Nevada counties later this afternoon into the evening. Otherwise, partly to mostly cloudy skies, hot, upper 80s, low 90s. Storms out west should wrap up about 9 o'clock. We'll go partly cloudy and mild overnight, dropping back into the upper 60s. And as we look ahead, upper 80s tomorrow, partly cloudy. Some pop-up storms Friday, low 90s. Those low 90s return, and they'll hang on through the start of next week. And a few more scattered thunderstorm chances for us Saturday and Sunday. So we're still watching the showers and thunderstorms out to our west this morning. So far, again, they're expected to weaken and just, clip our far western counties, but we'll keep an eye on them because if they hold together, we could see a little bit more of a widespread rain event later today. And I know a lot of folks are certainly keeping their fingers crossed for that.
All right. Well, this Wednesday, all you need is your smile. Happy National Selfie Day.
I don't do that because I make creepy faces. Well, since the rise of social media, though, people have been taking selfies, but what exactly is a selfie? Well, if you didn't know, it's just you snapping a pic of you. And maybe your friends, kids, or pets, you get them in there too.
Yeah, it doesn't count if you have somebody take the picture of you.
That's
You
very
have to
true.
be the
That's
one
why it's a
taking it.
selfie. You yourself are doing it.
So what happens if you're like Chris and you have short arms?
Oh, that's a problem, man.
Well, no problem. Grab a specially designed selfie stick or tripod to get the best angle. So whether at the gym, the office, or at home, grab your phone and snap a selfie.
Absolutely. I don't like doing that. Amber will do it, and I'll do it with her, of course, but I don't just go out and go, nobody wants to see me more than they already have to in the morning, so that's that.
I probably should do more selfies. We should
Probably.
do more.
I'll consider it.
Maybe before the noon we'll post one.
Maybe.
We took a selfie when we did our live show.
That's right. In Fort Scott, we did. That is true. Well, we want to thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We'll be back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great morning and an even better day.